the functional movement screen is not everything. I can recall a very high-end athlete who should go nameless right now, but Rob and I were collaborating on him. We had the full resources of biomechanical analysis and EMG and everything like that. And actually, to our surprise, the guy screened out pretty well, meaning there was no blinking red light saying fix me in any of his movement patterns. Likewise, his Y balance test, and if you guys don't know what that is, you better look it up because it's part of the system. That's why it's an appendix in the movement book. Both those tests really didn't tell us about a fundamental movement issue, yet we had a high-end athlete with a legitimate medical problem, enough to where he couldn't compete or play, but yet biomechanical analysis, the screen, the Y balance test wasn't really uncovering that because none of those tests showed major dysfunction or provoked pain. He and I immediately didn't get upset by that. We didn't try to force a problem where there wasn't one. We realized the problem showed itself in performance, in a full-on sprint, and in the bad biomechanics that came from that. We immediately quit being analysts, strength coaches, biomechanists. We became therapists. We did the SFMA, found a few issues that weren't readily exposed on the screen because that's not the role of the screen, looked at the issue, treated it out, went right back into a corrective model, and had a certain degree of success. So the screen's not the only thing. When somebody screens respectively, you don't try to make the screen the answer. Sometimes you've got to agree that we can have a movement issue. We can have an issue that doesn't even show itself until we get into high loads of physical capacity, or even more, we can have a problem that doesn't show itself until you get into the backswing, which is an absolute specific golf move or some other sports move. So we can have a fundamental movement issue, a physical capacity, performance, fatigability issue, or a weird, wacky, sport-specific skill position. Each of these can cause a problem, so don't try to make a problem where it's not. And I say that because people think when they have somebody who's problematic, who screens well, oh, the screen didn't find anything. It's not going to find a brain tumor either. But it doesn't mean we don't have tests that do that if you're showing signs of having some cognitive issues. So I think that I want everybody watching this to realize how many other assessment and testing resources that you blend with this perspective, and obviously what you have at your disposal in one of the most impressive biomechanics labs I've ever been to, and the fact that you still got to be a strength coach. You still got to worry about physical capacity. We all just consider the poor movement low-hanging fruit, not taking that off the table when we have a systematic way to do that that's actually supported by the literature and by developmental neurology just doesn't make any sense. It seems to be the first thing. It's just not the only thing. So chime in on that if you want.
One last thing I wanted to hit on that may actually highlight what we were just talking about is it's good within an institution to have this model where everyone's on the same page. Jeff and Marty on the exact same page, SFMA, FMS, bouncing back and forth what's appropriate. Some of the most success I've seen with this model is when I see someone in my institution, but they're from 300 miles away. And I screen them there and notice that they're just not ready to go yet. Not good, not bad. Based on objective information, they're not ready to go yet, significant limitations. I can find someone who's involved in the same system and refer them to that person, not worried about them getting 7 units of ultrasound to take care of their patellar tendonitis, and know that and have a collaboration. So if I talk to that person 300 miles away, we can have a Skype, we can talk via phone, we can chat via email, he can send me videos, and we can correct. And that can be 300 miles or 3,000 miles. If I'm working with someone in Italy or in Germany, so we have a couple of my patients have gone overseas with various appointments, that's fine. Do the screen in front of your webcam, we're good to go. The algorithm doesn't change. If you're painful, I know where you need to go. But if you're not, we can keep working down this path, and we can screen just because it is working on those fundamental movement patterns, and it doesn't change. Whether it's my dad who has shoulder issues, or I need to refer to someone in New Jersey, or someone from just 300 miles away from our institution, the model works the same, and we're not playing off different playbooks. It's a standard manual procedures for movement.
Yeah, and I think that's critical because we in the past you get so honed in on your area, and you can kind of lose track of all the elements that go into functional and sound movement. And being able to look at each individual and assess where those deficiencies are, whether it's a mobility issue, whether it's a stability issue, whether it's an asymmetry, whether it's a strength issue. There are so many different things that can affect each individual in its own way, and we can miss on those as individuals if we don't have that system that's kind of a checks and balances for us. And for us to be able to go through and look at fundamental patterns and get all of those raw numbers and basically really get to understand who that athlete is. Not just how fast they are or how high they jump, but all of these numbers now become kind of a baseline or a fingerprint for that athlete. And what better data to go back to in case there is an injury to hold ourselves accountable to our rehabilitation process that, yeah, he's safe to return to play. We have done our jobs as strength professionals, therapists, at putting this deficient body or injured body back together. We can speak about that. We can talk about that intelligently to our bosses, yep, or whoever that may be, that we're making decisions now based on scientific facts, not on, I just kind of think I see this or that.
Right, and that's the thing that when you go on these blogs of sports physical therapy, they talk about, well, what's my return to play? What, you know, my guy's 8 months post ACL, he looks great, but I'm not sure, my doc's not sure. And those are blogs that you see all the time, and it's interesting that, no, actually that's why we test our guys, screen, Y balance, hop stop, and if they go through a rehab process, and if we have to Biodex, and anything that you can put that you know works well with the matrix, then you know you're making the right decision. The doctor feels confident, the athlete feels confident, you're able to talk intelligently to the athlete, because we all know there's a confidence issue. Why? How come it takes so much time? It's been 12 months. But the more objective data you can provide to the athlete, your patient, coach, strength coach, therapist, and everybody's on the same page, speak the same language. That's wonderful, and it really works well.